What's up, everyone? It is your girl Beauty 87 here, aka Grace, and I decided I wanted to go ahead and rank all my blue, green, and purple themed palettes, because if y'all haven't noticed, a lot of people are coming out with those lately, and y'all know that's like one of my favorite color stories of all time. So I had to make sure I brought my palettes with me and film this cute little video for you. So without further ado, let's get into it, girl. Okay. So at the bottom I have the Unearthly Cosmetics Dead of Night palette. Now I don't really have too many issues with this palette other than the sequin matte shades and the fact that I felt like some of the shimmers in here hard panned quickly, so that's why she's at the bottom. That's literally the only reason. If the shimmers hadn't hard panned, I could have looked over this one sequin matte shade, but the fact that the shimmers hard panned pretty quickly was what put it at the bottom for me, because it's a gorgeous color story and it does just beautifully on the eyes with everything else. It's just I feel like I have to work a little bit for the shimmers, and I don't normally have to do that with their brand, so that's what kind of bumped it down to the bottom compared to all the other ones that we have here. So she's at the very bottom for a reason. So the next blue, green, and purple palette I have is the Plan and Makeup by Yolando 777 palette. Now to me this one could have been condensed quite a bit, because it's like, look how many different versions of green there are in here. I feel like there's way too many versions of green in here to start off with. So that's why I'm kind of just like, you know, like she didn't need, we didn't need all this. We just didn't need all of this. So yeah. But otherwise, I think it's an okay color story. And another thing with this one was I found mold in a couple of my shades. So I had that issue as well. Like there was mold in this one. And this one, if you all remember another video where I showed y'all, I don't know if you've seen it yet or not. I did a video on palettes I would condense. And obviously, since I just talked about all the greens being here, I talked about condensing some of them. And when I looked in, it had like white specks in the shadow. So I had to like dig it out, and I haven't like used it on my eyes since, but since I had it in my collection in this blue, green, and purple, I figured I'd go ahead and show it to you. But like, yeah, that was my issue with this one too, so that's another reason it's knocked down the way it is, because it's like that's the whole issue. So I probably should put it in Unearthly and opposite positions, just because, you know, one has mold issues, another one just has shimmers with one has hard pan on shimmers. So but anyway, the next one I have to talk about is the Cosmic Wanderer from Terra Moons. If you all remember, I was not a fan of this palette, and I had waited so long for them to come out with a new palette, and this is up my alley for color story for sure. So I was truly disappointed when the colors didn't necessarily work out the way I wanted them to. To me, this kind of reminds me of the quintessential palette too from what's her name, Temptalia and Sydney Grace, because I feel like it has a lot of the same similar colors in it, or at least some of them. I know they have a black and some other tones in it as opposed to more of the purples that are in here, but I feel like that's a good alternative for that. But since there was enough blue, green, and purple, I didn't put it in here. But this palette disappointed me. I don't remember if it was the mattes or if the shimmers weren't just giving me as much as I hoped, but I was disappointed by this palette compared to all the other blue, green, purple palettes I have. So that's why it is ranked where it is ranked. So next we have my Aurora Stu palette. Now I recreated this one myself, if you all remember, so it's not gonna look the way it's supposed to. I added shimmers to it. Like I think I added, let's see, I added 1, 2, I believe it was 3, 4, 5, I think like 6 shimmers to this, just to get it more aesthetically pleasing for my liking. It still has that blue, green, purple vibe to it, and I still like it. It's just I have some ones that are already created that I like just a tad bit better, so that's why this one got ranked where it is. But it's not because I don't love it. I do love this palette. I have come up with a couple of nice looks with it when I did use it, and I plan on using it some more now that I added some more shades to it. But compared to my other blue, green, and purple palettes, she's just not giving, you know, what I need her to give. So next is my Beauty Bay Dark Fantasy palette. What she looks like on the inside. Now I know this doesn't give that much blue, green, and purple, but it still does have elements of blue, green, and purple in it. The only thing is they always put neutrals in there, which is sometimes helpful if you want to take this on vacation and want to do a blue look or a green look or a purple look, or you're just in a rush and you have to do some neutrals. So that's why this one's a little bit higher up, because although I'm not personally crazy about neutrals, I know that sometimes they are useful, and since this is an affordable palette that you could take with you on vacation, I wanted to put it a little bit higher for that reason, because it could definitely come in handy. But that's why she is where she is. Next, let's get into my Age of Opulence from Beauty Bay. So this one is a little bit higher, and you'll know why, because it has more of the blue, green, and purple tones that I like. I like the fact that this is more jewel tone, but still has again some neutral elements in it. It has some deeper plums and some nicer blues. I just like the way this is worked out and how it would pair nicely with the Book of Magic, but it isn't like, you know, exactly like the Book of Magic. I'm not putting the Book of Magic in here because if you all remember, the Book of Magic doesn't have any greens in it, whereas I feel like this is somewhat of like a green shade. I think it has like bright blue and maybe a mint shade, so I don't know if you would necessarily count that. I don't, which is why it's not here, but I definitely did this one because there's a lot of blue and purple to it, and a couple of pops of what aren't traditional or blues, if you will, and a more like greenish blue. So I just kind of let that have a pass and slide, but there's literally nothing green in Book of Magic, which is why she wasn't here today. So there you go, because Book of Magic would have probably been right behind that one because that was the first one I got from Beauty Bay and I was obsessed and in love with it. So next I have the Michaela X Glam Light Part 2 palette. So I told y'all when this came out, this was definitely a palette that I would have created because I love me a blue, green, purple moment. So I love all the tones in here. I feel like she took a page out of Blend Bunny somewhat because of the way she somewhat designed some of the shades with the dark tones and all that, and she just placed them in different areas. But I like the color story of this. I like the formula of this. I think this is a really nice blue, green, purple palette. It's just because she has so many controversies, it makes me not really want to use it because if you ask me what's my eyes, and I say that and then it's a whole thing. So that's why it got bumped down a little bit lower, honestly, because honestly I really like the color story and the palette or whatever, but it's like I don't want to put it on and then this woman that had like 40 scandals in the last 40 minutes like she baby Jacqueline Hill. It's like I just don't have time. So there are plenty of other blue, green, purple palettes in my collection, so I just rather reach for them and not have to deal with the drama. Next I have the Lethal Cosmetics Evergreen palette. If you all remember, this was their holiday palette from 2022 last year. It came out with the Metamorphosis palette, and this is what she looks like on the inside. I know this doesn't give that much blue, green, purple because I feel like it doesn't really give that much purple, and it only gives you blue shimmers, but I just let it slide past. Well, I guess this is considered like a more turquoise, deep blue, like matte to go with this shimmer. So anyway, I just let it slide because, you know, like I love the color story. I was here for it. It's a vibe, and y'all know I love Lethal so much, so like this was going to be in here, okay? But she's stunning. She's a 10. I absolutely love it. To me, this is a fun condensed blue, green, purple palette for someone who doesn't want to have a lot of colorful makeup in their collection, but does want to use colorful makeup every now and again. So that's why she ended up where she ended up, because it's a smaller version of blue, green, purple palette, but it's, you know, still giving what you need. So next I have my Ninhydrin from Danessa Cosmetics. Now I feel like you shouldn't be surprised that this one is ranked pretty high because y'all know this was one of my loves. Now I know some people probably look at this as an all purple palette, but you see it has some green right here, and then some of these shift from blue to purple, so that's why I went ahead and included it in here. This is for a blue, green, purple shimmer lover. So if you're more into shimmers and not necessarily caring about the mattes as much, as you can see, there's only two mattes in here. There's this darker, like dirtyish purple mauve shade, and then this more grayish neutral type shade. And I feel like those are good staples for someone who just likes a simple like shade in the crease and then like, you know, a shimmer all over the lid and you don't need any outer V work done. This would be a good palette for you because otherwise it's gonna have to be paired with something else. But I still love these shimmers in here, and I still like to use this every now and again when I feel like there's a purple look I'm doing that just isn't giving me enough oomph. I definitely reach for this one, so I feel like it could be included. I make the rules, don't you judge me. Now we're into the top 5. So I feel like nobody should be surprised about what the top 5 is. Wait, are we in the top 5? We're about to be in the top 5. This is number 6. So we have the Glamin Cosmetics Nocturnal palette. I don't know if anyone would necessarily consider this a blue, green, purple palette, but I do because it has all of those tones in it. It has this unique, weird, blurplish shade. It has this unique blue shade, and then you have your greens and your purples right here, and then you have a little neutral quad right here. So I mean, if you cover this up, you pretty much get what I said, blue, greens, and purple. They're just not in the traditional sense of the tones, but that's what I like about this palette. It doesn't have the new traditional blue, green, and purple tones to it, but it still gives you gorgeous blue, green, purple looks with the different undertones that are unique to my collection, at least. And y'all know my collection is quite large, so if I'm saying it's unique, it's a big deal. Now I can probably find these two shades in other palettes, but I feel like this shade right here in particular is one that's pretty unique to my collection and stood out for me. Plus I just love the color story and the formula and shimmers from this brand as a whole, so I just had to have this palette. I'm waiting on my Sugar and Spice palette to come so that I can give y'all a review. If you all remember, I had set an alarm on Instagram for them to remind me about the palette, and then it didn't remind me like it was supposed to, so I ended up showing up to the website an hour late and everybody had bought it up. So She said it shipped off. I got my email saying it was shipped off, so hopefully that video can go up in a couple of weeks, maybe like the second week of September or something. Sorry about that, y'all, but you know, I'll do it as soon as it shows up. That's all I got, okay? So number 5 is the One Up collection from Lethal. Love this color story. Of course, what do we see? We see blue, green, and purple. If you cover up the pinks, you got a blue, green, and purple palette, and then you get this cute little pink section right here, because I like to do the pinks and purples and blues together sometimes, and then you can put the blues and greens together, or you can just do the purple, or you can just do each section on its own. I really love the color story of this. The thing that put this one so much higher up than everyone else was the shimmers, because it's like all these shimmers I feel like just about have jewel chromes, or they're super metallic-y and have nice bases to them and nice glitters in them that just make them sparkle on the eye so nice and lovely. So that's why this one got to be as high as it is at number 5, just because the shimmers are so amazing. Not that the mattes aren't nice, because the mattes in here are nice as well, but it's like the shimmers that took this one over the level for me, that put it higher up than some of the other ones because of the reflectiveness and the glitters that they chose to put in the shimmers. Now number 4, you might see is cheating. That's fine. I did design this palette myself. If y'all remember, I made my Circle Local over because I don't like orange. I just don't. So this is my Circle Local. So in your collection, it's not gonna look like this unless you take all the fun shades out of your Tropic palette and put them in your Circle Local palette. Then it will look like mine, which is like this. And as you can see, I'm loving this color story. We got the blue, green, and purple moment going on. You got some cute little pink cotton candy shades to go with it, because like I told you all, I like to put pinks with purple sometimes. So that was my inspiration for putting the pinks in here. I know there's only like a couple of green shades in here that are like shimmers. I think the Evergreen shade, well no, this like minty green shade here is like actually a matte. But I don't know, like this just looks aesthetically pleasing to me, and I think I've made a look with it. If not, I need to make a look with it, but it's simply stunning and just aesthetically pleasing for me to look at every time I open it. I'm like, yes, she's very pretty. So that's why it's number 4. Plus, we know Natasha's Denona quality is really nice, and all the fun shades from Tropic palette I didn't have an issue with, unlike other people who did, because I bought the mini one thinking that it wasn't gonna, the big one wasn't gonna be as good, and I didn't have any issues with those shades. So I don't know if it was like a batch thing or something, but all my shades from the Tropic palette that were on the bottom row that were fun works just fine. So I don't know, y'all. But anyway, number 3 is another Adept palette. This is my Arrow inspired palette. I said I hope she brings this back during the restock, because she asked which palette we want brought back, and I told her to bring back Arrow inspired, because I'm like, look at this. This is a blue, green, purple lover's dream. First of all, she gave these blue and green mattes for you to use, and I like the fact that she gave this like poopyish neutral one for you to use to kind of ground looks for people who like to have like neutral S type tone and don't have an issue like going in with a shade like this, because I go in with these two and be fine, or I go in with these two and be fine. But if you like to have a neutral shade to ground, I feel like it was nice of her to put this shade in to do that. Then you have all these gorgeous blue, green, and purple dual chrome, and one shifts from I think like pink to purple. I think it's, wait no, this one shifts from pink to like green or whatever. So all of them shift to different tones, and then you have all these nice like blue and green mattes to put with it. This is just a stunning palette. This is one of the palettes I like to use the most out of my Adept collection. This one, and of course Seahorse. Y'all know I live for Seahorse. Seahorse is going to be in my favorites of 2023 again, even though I already showed it in the best makeup I tried so far, just because I like it that much. So be prepared to see it again, okay? Thank you. Number 2 is the Serenity palette from Cosmic Brushes. And the funny thing is, when I first tried this one, I was just like, it's okay, everybody's hyping it up and all this other stuff. But like I told y'all in another video, you'll have to remember I had already tried like 2 or 3 blue, green, purple palettes, because I had tried the Michaela palette, then I had tried the one I just showed you, which was the Air Inspired one, and y'all know how I feel about Adept. They have my heart and soul. Love them. So then when I tried this one, I was like, okay, it's just another blue, green, purple palette. But then I tried some more stuff from them. I was like, oh, okay, now I see what it is. Because once I had separated myself from having used that from a while, because you have to think how many times I have to use, how many times I get to use palettes. Once I got to use the Muse palette and actually test it out some more, I was like, oh, okay, the formula on these is amazing. Especially for this price. Aren't these like 27 or 30 bucks or something? Like, and I would easily pay like double that. Like, I would pay Natasha Denona midi prices for this palette just because it's that fire. But I'm glad she doesn't charge that. But, you know, I would pay it. That's how fire it is for the price. I would pay it. So, I'm interested to see what they're going to come out with, if they're going to have a holiday palette to come out, because I'm definitely interested. I always say, like, the little orange just distracts me. But, you know, it's not bothering anybody. So, as you can see, without the orange, it's truly a blue, green, and purple palette. Like, the pop of orange, I don't know what that was about. But, you know, okay, I guess the orange is supposed to go with the blues, because you know, orange, people like to put orange and blue together, like team colors, like the NYX, and there's another team, I'm assuming it has that color. I just thought of the NYX automatically because I have that ColourPop palette. But yeah, I feel like this is a gorgeous palette. It has a wonderful price point if you want to get a blue, green, and purple palette with amazing quality, some nice shimmers that don't have to break the bank. I would definitely recommend picking up this one, because a lot of the other ones I showed y'all are kind of expensive. If you want more bang for your buck, I'd say maybe get the Plain and Makeup by Yolando if you're a fan of greens, because as you saw, that one has quite a few greens in it, girl. And you know, yeah, you gotta really love green to appreciate that palette, because she's giving a lot of green. If you're like more into the shimmers or just the dual chrome, multi-chrome-ness of it all, I would say go ahead and get the anhydrous ones, because you can get a lot of bluish purple tones, and then you get like a green and then like a nice pink that shifts to something else if you're more prone to purple. So I tried to pick some that had a good majority of a certain color of shade too, just in case you like that one more but you still want to dip your toe into other colors. So that's what the combination of all of this was. Now let's get into number one, which I feel like nobody should be surprised about. I've been raving about this palette since it came out. I said I was jealous of everybody on the PR list for this brand when this palette came out, because as soon as she showed it, I was like 20 seconds later, it needs to be on my doorstep. I wish it was like those Sephora commercials where, like, you know, they show the thing on the screen and then you put your hand up and you get out. That's literally how I felt when I saw this palette, because I wanted it that much. And of course, it is my Glamin Cosmetics palette. Like, y'all know I love this palette. Like, this palette right here, she's giving everything I need and more. So she was gonna be number one. She was just gonna be number one. I did want to include my Sea Witch palette from Evergreen Cosmetics, but like I feel like it didn't have enough of all the tones I was looking for in this ranking. But it is a gorgeous palette. I will try to pop a picture of a video of it somewhere in the video. I'll try to pop it, I guess, like right in here somewhere. It's a gorgeous palette, but I just feel like it didn't have enough of the colors. But y'all can tell me if you disagree or not. But this is number one. That's what it comes down to. Like, this has my heart and soul. This is going to be this is definitely going to be in my rankings for 2023 as one of the best palettes. Y'all can comment down below and tell me, do you want me to rank all the palettes I tried this year? Because I did that one year, y'all didn't seem to care, so that's why I haven't done it again since. Because you gotta think it's a lot of work for me to sit up and rank all of them, and then y'all didn't even really watch or care. So if you want me to do it this year, I can. I was thinking about bringing back the ranking the palettes once a month too, so then that way I can remind myself about stuff, because sometimes I forget stuff I bought this year because I have to buy so much stuff. Girl, it's a lot. But I hope you all enjoyed this video. I hope you love blue, green, and purple palettes as much as I do, and it encourages you to pull out some of the ones you already have instead of looking at some of the new stuff that's coming out, because that stuff is expensive. Oh, random side note, I did get the new Adepte Cosmetics palette, so I'm just waiting on it to show up. It's giving me like everything we wanted subculture to be. That's what it's giving me, like with the fun tones of mattes that she chose and the beautiful, gorgeous dual chrome shades she picked. I want to pair it with the mystery palette, the La Cienega, and see how that works out. But I hope I'm saying it right. But anyway, I hope you all enjoyed this video. Remember, you all the dimes. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Be blessed, girl. Bye. So here is the Sea Witch palette from Evergreen Cosmetics.